Yep, I can see the community channel. Looks like it's good for both of our streams. It does need some cropping though.
The Bulba placement seems fine. That's
Yeah, that
special
looks
sounds,
correct,
yeah.
Julian.
Okay. Okay. Yay. Works. Mm, I'm not streaming my audio at all. I'm not streaming my audio
Oh,
at
my
all. I'm
audio
not
should be on
streaming my
stream.
audio.
Um, might be muted in the source in OBS. I think most streams will start muted.
I'm not messing with the settings now. I'm also amazed that my computer handles all the stuff that's currently running. I've never tested that. Like 10 browser windows, Dolphin, OBS, Twitch, everything.
Yeah, definitely
Discord.
takes a lot of stuff happening.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm here now.
No problem.
Um,
I guess probably stupid questions, but go through the audio sources in the bottom and make sure they're all like unmuted for the stream sources.
mhm.
Okay. Trying to think what else could there be?
Are like the actual streams unmuted?
Yeah, my stream definitely has game audio.
Okay. Are you using OBS to stream? Can you maybe try screen sharing and see if I can see anything?
Like there is audio coming through in the source. Maybe it's just too quiet or something?
Yeah, try turning up the mixer. I mean, it doesn't really matter which feed has audio. Yeah, exactly.
You probably wouldn't hear it in your mic unless it's set to monitor. Oh, huh.
Hmm. All right.
I'm trying to listen over my game audio to the actual stream, and it does sound vaguely like the stream, and it does the menu music is there.
Here, Chemi, I can open up your stream real quick. See what?
Wait, sorry, what was that?
I'm just opening up your stream real quick.
Cool. Huh. It's
Hmm.
pretty strange.
Crispy wafer pieces in a smooth, chocolatey center.
Ah,
How will you describe Kit Kat bites? Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
I'm a rookie in love. Everything I know about it is from what I've seen in movies, what I've heard in love songs, and what I imagine it to be. I'm a rookie in love because I'm afraid of it.
hmm.
I'm afraid of its force, and I'm afraid of...
Probably fine though. If there's no audio, or even if it's just Julian's audio, that's probably fine.
Mhm.
Doesn't really matter.
Okay. So I've activated sound now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
I think we can hear
So,
it good enough. Yeah,
okay.
I think.
And I'll then turn the sound of dolphin up. Then it should be a bit louder. Audio.
Definitely pretty weird, yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. Good luck, Julian. Here's to a good
Good luck,
race.
Chemi.
All right, so we're starting out going straight into Snaggart Hole. By the way, Julian, you should leave the call. Just as a quick heads up. But anyway, headed straight into Snaggart Hole. Snaggart Hole 1, pretty straightforward sub-level. Basically, your game plan here is you're going to want to get a little bit of bug bodies by taking out the male shear grubs, get those headed back, and then you lure the bulborb closer to you. So that way you can get the treasure and the bulborb body in quicker than you would if you just killed it while it was all the way over there. Plus, it makes the fight a bit easier because the bulborb is in a bit of a awkward spot to fight. But yeah, overall pretty simple floor. Just kind of get through it. Up next, we're going into sub-level 2. Interesting floor, for sure. Definitely interesting to see the layout, because this definitely is a sub-level that will make or break the run. About the racers a little bit, going off topic from the game. Chemi is a very, very good Pikmin runner. She I believe, man, it's hard to remember everything. She is a pretty good pod runner, and oh, it looks like Julian's gonna be messing up the ferry a little bit here on Snaggart Hole 2. That's gonna be a reset. Unfortunate. Because the thing about the ferrying is you have to be pretty quick with your whistles, getting all of your Pikmin across the water. For a lot of runners who've been doing this for a while, it's kind of just second nature. But definitely, if you are a newer runner, it definitely is still a thing that trips you up. And even the more experienced runners will probably lose, a couple Pikmin during that whole ferry sequence from time to time. So it is very much something that you have to look out for. Chemi picking up some bug bodies as the strawberries coming in, pretty standard play. Just getting those extra pokos, because every bit really does matter. We don't really know what the rest of SH is going to look like now. We don't know if we'll get Lens or TST, and we don't know. We don't really know the rest of the layouts yet. So just trying to be safe, trying to get as many bug bodies as possible here is always going to be your best plan. Into sublevel 3, this is a pretty simple sublevel. Basically, your game plan here is you want to find the burrowing Snagret and kill it, and while that treasure is getting sent in, you can then go and take out the wall that goes to the hole, since you're pretty much waiting on the wall anyway, so it's going to be more efficient to, even though it's only a 40 Poco treasure, it's more efficient to get that treasure because you have to wait on the wall to tear down. I believe this is well, this is one of 2 walls that you deal with before Citadel of Spiders, I believe. And even SH6, you don't always get a wall in your way. Usually you do, but not always. On to SH4. This is another pretty simple sub-level. Just do combat, get your treasures. But it looks like Julian finally catching up a little bit, finishing up SH2, getting the combustion berry in. Chemi not going for cherry, kind of a shame. Going for cherry is always the right play in every circumstance, and the fact that Chemi isn't doing that is just kind of proof that, like, maybe she isn't like perfectly calm and experienced enough with the game or something. So really, definitely kind of a one of those things that more experienced players very much like to go for cherry. It's a whopping 10 pokos, which is like, you need like 1,000 of those to pay off the debt. So pretty efficient. You watch the whole cutscene, and it's a wonderful treasure. You get it. The overwhelming majority of layouts is very efficient to get, because it's just worth so much. I mean, if this were 2-player battle, we'd have to be playing 2-player battle. That doesn't sound very fun. So anyway, Julian getting onto sublevel 4. This actually is kind of an interesting 4, just because there's a lot of enemies right by the marbles, and it's a split layout. Definitely kind of annoying if you were to get it in an actual run. Julian going for Cherry, very pog. A man of the people, I see. Meanwhile, Chemi just getting the last couple treasures in SH5. Another pretty simple sub-level. It's kind of hard to read because all of the treasures are in enemies. So you can't really use the normal score logic that we use for most of this game when it comes to trying to figure out where stuff is. Ooh, Julian losing a few Pikmin to the void here and a Pikmin to the electric gate or the electric hazard. It doesn't look like a complete disaster, but it doesn't look great either. Very unfortunate that the blowhog, or not the blowhog, the cannon beetle shook off there. Sometimes you just can't help it, and even though you throw a bunch of purples at it, it just doesn't feel like getting stunned and it shakes off, and that's just kind of part of the game because purple stuns are RNG based, which is unfortunate. And it looks like Chemi's actually going to be getting lens in this Stagger Hole 6, which is very cool. It is a little bit out of the way though, even though it is like a lens sub-level, it's possible that Julian might not check for lens here, and in that case, maybe be behind because of that. But hopefully, both players get their lens, and all goes well. There's a Snagrit. It might have TST, but obviously, you know, there's water in the way, so it's not like you're going to get it. Also, no gate. This is actually a really good 6. No gate and lens. Wow. Ooh, Julian getting the cutscene for a white Pikmin getting eaten there. You usually get that cutscene anyway throughout the course of a run, but it kind of stinks for it to happen during kind of a slower section of combat. Chemi getting the quick kill on the Pileated Snagrit, very good. Also, she does a strategy where she actually zooms in the camera right after she kills the Pileated Snagrit, and what that does is it makes it so the treasure that the Pileated Snagrit isn't loaded in, and it makes it so it doesn't do janky things because the physics in this game is very bad, and it just makes it generally a more of a headache-free experience. I don't know if Snagrit Crash is patched out. The only thing I know, actually no, I guess we aren't even running EV patch because this is late game. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's being used right now other than it's set seed. Anyway, Chemi working on her now Awakening Wood above ground section. I mean, we have resets occasionally in races. It's just kind of a part of the game. That's why we play with memory card in races because, you know, I remember the last race that we had, I believe 3 resets, 2 from one player and 1 from the other, just due to, you know, Pikmin wipes and stuff like that. I mean, it happens. It's part of the game. Julian kind of fumbling around a little bit, trying to find where to go in this SH6. Does get lens, though, which is very good. All right. Loads it up. Doesn't worry about ferrying. Now, this could be something that you get punished for, but in this case, you know, of course, me in the commentary booth, I already know that there isn't a gate here, so, you know, it is a risk that you can take, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Chemi continuing her Awakening Wood above ground, just raising up some blues right now. Blues are going to be really important going into the late game because you don't really use reds after this point. Unless you're low on blues, which, you know, it happens, but it looks like she'll be fine on blues. I haven't seen anything that makes me, unless like she loses a bunch of blues in BK or something and decides not to reset, you know, she'll be fine on blues. All of the pellets are getting in, you know, the bug body or the bulbor body, everything's going just fine. Yep, continuing to load up all this stuff for the blue onion. Basically, what this split is we're basically loading up everything into the blue onion while we wait for the globe to come in. Because the globe is the thing that the globe is like it's pretty expensive. It's a 200 Poco treasure, I believe, which is a lot for a you know, that's a pretty expensive treasure. But also you do need it in order to get into Perplexing Pool. So it's very valuable, and it's basically a requirement to get while you're in Awakening Wood, because actually, yeah, it is, because you cannot pay off the debt without money from Perplexing Pool, I believe. Maybe you can. Maybe there is. I don't think you can though. Julian heading out of SH, 19 Pikmin deaths, not great, but definitely salvageable. I mean, yeah, body's lol, but so now Julian starting that same Awakening Wood above ground enter BK split, just trying to, you know, raise up some blues. Meanwhile, Chemi heading towards BK, doing the actual enter BK part of enter BK. Obviously, she did the knapsack already. I kind of talked over that, but getting the rest of her party up into here and setting everything up. All right. Julian getting a bunch of Pikmin on the bridge, knapsacking back, you know, what you do. All right. Chemi now into BK. Luring the Bulborb. Pretty simple BK1. This sublevel isn't very variable. The only thing that really changes is where the Bulborb is, but I mean, you have a treasure gauge for a reason, so you just kind of use that. Julian a bit slow on his loads here, but should be fine. Just, you know, it's definitely he is definitely not as experienced of a runner as Chemi, which is perfectly okay. You know, it's always about that learning curve, getting better. But you can definitely see that there are some things that he isn't quite as confident or as fast on compared to what you see from Chemi, which is just kind of the nature of a race like this. Chemi collecting the treasure in Bullocks Kingdom 2. Very good, very nice. All right. Now in Bullocks Kingdom 3, she goes, you just skip this floor. This floor is a pain. It has 3 withering blowhogs that are just the worst enemies for trying to go fast, because they blow over your Pikmin, they make you lose all your flowers. Just awful. Not a fun enemy. And into BK4. Now let's see. Is this where the Wollywog is gonna be? All right, it's gonna be where the Wollywog is. So just kind of how BK4 tends to go is you choose a direction and you go there, and either there's a Wollywog or a Glint Beetle, and then you kill that thing and get the treasure, and then you go over to the other side and basically do the same thing. The only real danger here is, oh, there's a lot of electrical hazards, and Wollywog, you know, can be scary if you aren't, you know, sometimes you just aren't ready to deal with the Wollywog, or sometimes the AI is just really mean to you. Like, the Wollywog AI in this game is very aggressive, so sometimes it just does some shit, and you're like, wow, thanks, game. Anyway, Julian finally getting the globe in here, which is the last thing he needs to do before heading into BK. So there's another pellet on the ground. Is he gonna grab it? No, he's not. Cask is a bit further back than you would probably want it to be. But you know, he gets Olimar and he's headed into Bullock's Kingdom. BK5 is another one of those sub-levels that we just kind of run into. There's just not really a point in playing it. Anxious Sprout isn't a great treasure, and that's all you get. And there's a fair bit of combat you might have to do on this sub-level. Sometimes it's worth it to grab that treasure, but it's really just not a great treasure to get most of the time. Maybe if you're like low on bugs and you didn't get lens, but obviously since this is a lens run, just kind of how it is. There's the bomb that drops right on that treasure. Pretty standard, pretty standard. So yeah, getting that dig going. Just gotta get those treasures in as quickly as possible. Dweevil grabbing that body and Chemi saying no and throwing a purple at it. Good job, Chemi. I didn't really get to talk about 2, actually, while we were on it. I was talking about more of the above ground stuff that Julian was doing. But this sub-level is definitely one that trips up players, especially newer players. Sometimes it's a very delicate balance between going fast and being safe for this sub-level. And, you know, sometimes you do one of too many and you pay the price for it either by, you know, losing Pikmin or losing time. Usually losing time. You usually don't lose Pikmin to the sub-level because the only hazards are fire hazards and you can just whistle your Pikmin. You have like 6 seconds or something to whistle after they get set on fire, so you don't really lose Pikmin. It's just, oh, you might lose time because you're too cautious and you should just be going, be urgent. And sometimes you're just going too fast and your Pikmin get burned and you're like, well, dang. And that's that. Anyway, Chemi finishing up Bulwark's Kingdom 6. Going down to Bulwark's Kingdom 7, the final floor where the boss is. Now, the Emperor Bulblax it's a pretty straightforward boss. This is probably the boss whose quick kill is the most similar to casual strats because you kind of just throw purples at it and it dies. It's kind of sad, honestly, considering it was the final boss in Pikmin 1 and now it's just kind of doesn't really do anything. But yeah, you only need like 15 purples to throw at this guy, and you just kind of do that and he dies before he can even do anything. Julian opting to raise some purples here on BK4. Definitely an interesting choice. I'm not necessarily sure that's what I would do. You know, definitely in all treasures, obviously you'd want to grab the purples here, but here I'm not really sure about the play. Still, more purples is always nice. You know, it's not a bad thing to have more purples, especially since you probably aren't going to be using those reds anymore. It's just, is it worth it to spend that time throwing in the purples and plucking them here, as well as having to deal with purple leaves? Oh, I didn't realize the glint beetle and the Wollywog were actually in the same area. That's not very common for that to happen, but it does happen. Kills the Wollywog. There's the glint beetle. Kills the glint beetle. Gets the 2 treasures. Headed in. And he's now going to head out. I kind of skipped what's going on with Chemi, but basically what Chemi does there is knapsacks up to grab the Justice Alloy treasure, so that way you don't have to do the puzzle, or Gyroid Bust, not Justice Alloy. Ugh. So that way you can just get through there. It's a 250 Poco treasure. It's a very worth your time. But normally what you're supposed to do is go up the fire once you get the fire protection suit from beating Emperor Bullblacks, and then, you know, throwing your Pikmin up and getting the treasure. But instead we just knapsack up and get the treasure like that, because it's fast, and going fast is important. Chemi finishing up day 5, while Julian on sub-level 5, finishing up sub-level 5, getting through there. You never want to hang out around level 5 or BK5 too much. It's kind of a sketchy part of town. Chemi now landing in Valley of Repose. Now Valley of Repose 2 above ground is actually not necessarily one of the hardest splits, but just I think it's a very interesting split. It's not hard in execution, but it can definitely be tough to wrap your mind around to get the checklist of things that you need to do. But I do quite like it. There's the bomb rock. All right, Julian's fine. So what Kemi's doing now that the battery dig is started, is she's going to be grabbing her blues, and she's gonna head up to where the egg was, where we did where you would do egg push. Uh, the eggs over by base in Valley Repose, and go nectar up her blues. Looks like she's just gonna be. Is she gonna fix the carry? Oh no, it doesn't look like it. All right. She's just gonna kill what she did there is actually kill the dwarf bulborb, so that way it isn't in the way when she's coming through there on the next day. Because what's gonna happen is once she collects this treasure, the day is gonna end, because whenever you collect your first treasure in Valley of Repose, the day does end. Usually this doesn't really matter because it's just the first day, it's all the tutorial stuff. But since we skipped the tutorial in the speed run, uh you know, we have to deal with that. And so that's kind of always been a bit of a challenge when it comes to routing, is what do we do about the treasure that ends the day. What we used to do is we just did all the caves, and we kind of had treasures slowly moving in, like on their way going in throughout that time. And then once we were done with all the caves, we'd get a treasure in, end the day, and then go get the rest of the treasure. But now instead we just basically flip the order, get one treasure, end the day, get the rest of the treasures headed in, and then start doing the caves. So definitely an interesting turnover of things going on there. Julian headed down to BK7, gonna do the same thing, dealing with verbal blacks. Pretty straightforward, all things considered. Chemi getting some of her Pikmin going onto the ring over here. Interesting strategy where she opts to actually fairy and lifeguard the purple and white and the purple and whites, as opposed to just throwing them up to the ledge, which is what is kind of the standard, is you throw it up to the ledge over by your base, and you would just whistle them once you have the blues onto the gate. But this way is faster, but definitely a fair bit riskier. So yeah. Also getting some purples up onto the ledge over here, so that way you can more easily collect a treasure that is up there and worth a fair bit. As well as getting some Pikmin on other scrap. A lot of the treasures in Valley of Repose above ground are actually quite valuable. They're either valuable or just like pretty quick, like SAT is just a pretty quick treasure that you can get. Anyway, draining the water, very good. Getting the purples up onto Fossilized Ursidae, and now she's going to load up the bridge. A bit low on blues, I believe. 13 isn't exactly the amount that I would want to be on the bridge, but you know, getting the knapsack up getting the work done nonetheless. Julian also getting that gyroid bust. Again, just such a valuable treasure that it's very much worth going for. And a lot of the treasures are actually coming in Chemi, so you get to see all those little cutscenes. There are a lot of cutscenes in this game. Uh, Julian finishing up in BK. I believe he still has to grab Healing Cask before he ends the day. Yeah, it looks like he's going to do that now. The only unfortunate thing here is, you have to deal with the 50% cutscene before you can go run out to grab Cask. Usually optimally you want to be getting Cask before you enter BK, but obviously if it's not going to come in very quickly, you don't want to wait on it. Because that's also just going to lose you. It's better to just get all of your Pikmin and get like the fastest load you can on it once you're done with BK. Chemi now going into Subterranean Complex. This is the first like really hard cave of the run, I'd say. SH and BK are certainly challenging, but I feel like a lot more of the challenge in those caves comes from playing them fast, while a lot more of the challenge from this caves is just that there's a lot of stuff going on, and like, dealing with all the shit. Chemi definitely realizing that with the combination of that poison geyser, and then the enemies in this room, as well as the long corridor going over to that dead end, that's where Nouveau Table will be. A kind of thing that you just kind of can get the read on more as you're a more experienced player. Also, ops to skip the tape. Sometimes you do skip the tape just because, in this case, it's very much out of the way. It's very slow to go for, and since she already has lens, the Poco's being set back here isn't a huge deal. It does kind of, obviously every Poco matters, and you'd rather be ahead of Poco Pace than behind Poco Pace, but in this case, it just works out that it's better to not grab the treasure. Julian now headed up to the ledge, nectaring up his blues, while Chemi doing sub-level 2. Now, the main thing that you have to be worried about this sub-level is just there are a lot of bombs, and it can be kind of nerve-wracking to go through, and you kind of... This is another thing like Bullet Kingdom 2, where you have to have that kind of delicate balance between being safe and, making sure that none of your Pikmin die, nothing disastrous happens, and being fast. You still have to get all the treasures in, get your loads going, do the do. But the main thing here is, unlike BK2, where it's just fire, now we have explosions from bomb rocks, which just kill your Pikmin immediately. So very, very not fun. I have a knot in my hair. It's annoying me. SCX3 is definitely a bit of a polarizing sublevel. Not necessarily polarizing. I don't like it. I hate playing this sublevel, if I'm gonna be perfectly honest. There's a lot going on here. Actually, this is a pretty good 3 though. Like, I would be very happy to get this layout in a run. Just because all the treasures are kind of right together, so you aren't really losing time to. What ends up happening usually is you like have to go one way to grab coil launcher, do your combat or whatever, and then you have to go another way to get the other 2 treasures. It ends up being kind of slow, but in this case, they're all just kind of in the same area.
So you can just kind of grab them, get them loaded, and then head to the hole. Oh, wow, the hole is far. Wait, what? Okay, I need to see actually the rest of the sub-level now. Because just looking at the minimap, that hole is not where I feel like it should be. Yeah, you can see Julian here doing the more the more standard strat for grabbing SAT, where he just throws his Pikmin up to the ledge, and starts to dig that way. Going over to throw his Pikmin up now. Yep, getting. Ooh. It looks like he was gonna load up Utter Scrap for a second. Ooh, a bit tough on those purple throws. Let's see. Oof, kind of struggling there. I guess the cave wasn't that far. Okay, or the hole. Maybe I'm just out of it. I don't know. Now on to sub-level 4. This is another. Actually, the first rest sub-level we're seeing here. This is a nice place. You get 15. There's 15 whites worth of flowers here, so it's pretty worth your time to just raise these up. Because there are going to be quite a few buried treasures that you're going to need whites for, in the next cave specifically. And also, whites are the fastest type of. Ooh, gets my tights. Which is actually pretty good. Throw some purples. I would have just gotten all those bug bodies, honestly. Looks like I didn't really want to, but you know, everyone plays the game a bit differently, and that's the cool thing about Pikmin 2 is everyone kind of responds to situations differently. It's really about having it's a lot of this game is about having instincts and knowing what instincts to listen to and what instincts are bad. And that's kind of a lot of what the learning curve for this game is. Alright, so you see Chemi doing a trick known as Rim Walk. This is pretty simple. This is another knapsack trick where basically you just have a Pikmin carry you up onto the rim of the area, and it allows you to jump down to the hole, save a substantial amount of time as opposed to running all the way around that whole layout. Alright, SCX6, common killer of runs, and killer of Pikmin for that matter. The tough thing about this sublevel is just there's always a lot of stuff going on. See, getting some Pikmin a bit poisoned, but alright, it looks like she's got this under wraps. Ooh, Pikmin died to poison, what looks like. Dirigibug, wow. Pikmin dismiss, huh? Just, I love when all of my Pikmin cooperate with me and are great. Yeah, this is definitely a sublevel that sometimes it's just oh 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 no oh the anode beetles go off and she loses like all of her whites. That's really bad. Is she gonna reset or is she gonna just keep playing with this? I guess we'll see. Julian getting the bridge finish. Oof. Yeah, you can see kind of the frustration being let out onto that treasure over there. Last two treasures getting brought in. It looks like she's gonna keep going. She did lose a fair bit of whites, but you know, obviously, maybe if I'm in her position, obviously she doesn't know where her opponent is compared to her. But if she did have that knowledge, I wonder she may have been more inclined to go ahead and reset here. Anyway, Julian headed on to SCX1. Looks like also picking up where treasure is, just based off the treasure gauge. Yep. So he's gonna go grab an Evo table. Is he going to grab the tape though? What I am wondering. Looks like he's gonna try to nectar up a bit of his Pikmin, but the digs in the way. It's like fortunate. Chemi onto SCX7. Both of the Groinks are actually rather close to each other in this case. It looks like what her strategy is gonna be is to go get the further away treasures that aren't where the Groinks are, while distracting the Groink with Olimar. Or distracting Romeo, specifically the roaming Groink with Olimar, and letting Louis go carry out the tasks. Yep. Looks like she actually used Olimar to lure the roaming Groink into the abyss of the subterranean complex. So very nice work there. Getting the treasure done, or getting the combat done efficiently. Now all she needs is the tape, which I guess is... Oh, is it over here? Kind of a rough SCX7 layout. Mr. J, I tried reading what you just said, and I don't know what "it might be time" means. Yes, SBU, this is Lens. Lens was collected. It was actually a really good SH6. Ooh, Julian accidentally setting off one of the bomb rocks here. That's okay, just kind of get it off screen, don't let any Pikmin be near it. But just a bit of time lost there from that. All the loads, getting back in. Oh, it might be time for the special? What special? Ooh, the Dirigibug's definitely being a bit Monka-S here. With Julian. Yeah, this is late game RTA. Cap. I would presume they gentlemen to it. I wasn't here when the decision was made, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, okay, Julian's struggling a bit here with the Dirigibugs. Definitely definitely a tougher sublevel to be going really fast on sometimes. Just kind of to do the thing, especially because he is a bit lower on whites here. So he can't get that full carry. Looks like Chemi's gonna be putting all of her blues the fossilized day here. Two blues just slack on. Julian headed up to SCX3, loads up the spring. He's headed towards gonna take out the fire geyser in the way. Just being yourself caution. And now getting ready to fight the beetle. Now the thing about the Baird cannon beetles that can make them a little bit tougher than other enemies is that they can't be stunned by purple. So it's definitely something that be wary of. Now in the above ground area, you see Chemi is actually distracting the Withering Blowhog. Just, again, these are enemies that make you lose flowers on your Pikmin. Very annoying, and just by getting them not hitting your is going to be very optimal. Very, very... Julian just getting all of his carries going. Headed towards the exit of this 3. A bit of a weird 3 for finding the exit, but it's okay. FC1, Chemi is be looking into treasures. Now, the thing about this sublevel is all the treasures are buried, and there are also doodle bugs that'll kind of get in your way, being poison. So that's really the challenge of this particular sublevel. Since we are in AT and we don't have bitter sprays, doodle bugs exactly something that you want to see. They're just yeah, so she locates the 2 treasures. Is now the exit. While Julian whites. Play. No Mai Tai for Julian. Because what actually comes out of eggs is something that, even though this is set seed and all the floor layouts are the same, the actual eggs themselves are going different. Chemi, the last treasure, just getting ready. See. Julian on SCX5, not as confident, so guides. Perfectly okay. A bit slower, but obviously, if you aren't confident on the trick, fumbling at the trick is gonna take just. I'm just gonna go. Mile here on FC2, getting those high throws on present. Luckily, that decorated cannon over there is in a spot where you don't really have to worry about it. Just deload it through it. So very nice FC2 layout, and that everything's kind of out of the way. Julian to FC6. Let's see, does he have a better time here? Than Chemi. Definitely lost a fair bit to some. Spark. Ooh. Georgia Bug taken care of. A lot of those poison hazards combined with the heals can just be really annoying, because you can't get your purples to stun them as easily. Poison. Ooh. Loses a blue to electricity, but overall, actually, looks like the situation is pretty well. Good situation. Yep. Flipping all over, getting killed. Anyway, back to FC3. Chemi opts not to whistle any of the bulbmen just because it is a longer cutscene. Even though you do get 9 more Pikmin, or 10 more Pikmin to be with you for the rest of the cave. If you're gonna watch that cutscene, worth it. You're gonna do that much because they aren't flowered. Luring the bull bear over as the treasure's getting. Ooh, Dweevil just going with that treasure, huh? On Julian's side, wow. Me beating the bull bear. Bull. But it actually looks like Julian was a bit slow on this SCX6, but didn't really have any major loss. Unlike Chemi, who definitely lost a fair bit of her whites this SCX6. I gotta say, these players are definitely in sync with their downtime, is making just the best commentary as a result, because all the time, all of their come down cutscenes are happening at the same time. It's kind of crazy, actually, how they're just lined up so perfectly like that, even though they are a fair bit apart where they are actually. Julian starting SCX7, going for an interesting strategy of saying fuck it and kind of running growings. Having one growing distracted by the blue while beating the tower growing into the thing about the bomb rocks in this sublevel is there are a lot of them, so sometimes one gets set off and it just kind of is a chain reaction of all the rest of them. So that's very. Chemi on FC4, pretty simple sublevel. You just sure get tripped up by the electric. But there are plenty of other sublevels that have electric hazards where this one tough to go. The only annoying thing is that the bumbling snitch bugs will sometimes pick up your captain. When they pick up your captain dismiss all your Pikmin, so if you aren't ready, they might just all run over to an anode beetle and just all get zapped. Which does happen sometimes, but generally not too tough of a sub-level. Chemi now headed on to FC5. Here we're just gonna kill the Mamuta that has the treasure, grab the treasure, and then go. It's like Mamuta with the treasure. Oh, I don't think. Yeah. Just actually kind of an annoying layout where you have to get through all the Mamutas in order to get to the one with the treasure. It happens sometimes. Definitely not that big of a time loss compared to other sublevels that have kind of annoying variable layouts. Ooh, looks like Julian loses a bit of Pikmin to a bomb blowing up over here, and also kind of scary because the Gatling growings are very close to reviving, but it looks like he'll get out of there just in time for disaster to not strike. SCX-8, I presume Julian's just gonna head straight to the geyser. Although he might. A lot of weird layouts where like holes and geysers have just been kind of in the hallways, for this particular SCX. Very, very interesting C generator for sure. Julian now back in the above ground area, just kind of getting ready, head towards. Meanwhile, Chemi now in your cavern 7. Rockfall. This is another kind of tougher sublevel, especially to play fast, because you kind of. This is a very easy sublevel for you to misread and lose a lot of time because of that. If you misread where you need to go. This is also our last sublevel of Frontier Cavern. We don't go to Frontier Cavern 8 just because it's a pretty long boss fight that you have to do with the treasure here, and it's just not really worth it to go for because there's just a geyser right here, so you can get most of the treasures without fighting the boss anyway. You know, for something like Bullback's Kingdom, where the boss is just kind of in the way trying to get to the geyser, or same with Snagger Hole, it makes more sense, even if maybe it's not the best. You know, in theory, it might be the best to get the boss. But it's just that the boss is kind of right there while you're going towards the treasure, so it works out that way. Chemi now having both of her treasures in. Headed up, finishing up her Valley of Repose, heading into the Perplexed Pool for kind of the last really segment of this. Just the last two caves, the last the end. It's the end game. It's the lake. Julian, however, still on FC1. Just gotta look around for those treasures. Doodlebugs always just being an absolute nuisance. Farting around, doing their thing. Chemi now inside of Perplexing Pool, getting out her Pikmin, getting ready to head to the first cave that we do here, which is the Citadel of Spiders. In that cave, we're gonna be just getting a couple treasures. It's actually kind of an annoying cave because there's a lot of walls or gates and stuff that you have to break down, but otherwise, not too hard of an area. Just kind of slow. It's definitely probably the area that feels the slowest when you're playing through it. At least of the payoff debt caves for sure. There's a reason why we very particularly don't do the caves that we don't do in payoff debt because they are just a. Chemi actually kind of squeezing her way through the twigs here on COS 1. It's kind of cool, a little movement. Get through a little bit faster. Now on COS 2, ooh. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Her purples lock on to the fire geyser that's going off instead of the Wollywog trying to hit. Luckily, nothing really bad happens of it because the Wollywog gets stunned anyway, but that definitely is not... That is something scary to see. Just... deal with that. But anyway, gets through the sub-level, fine, grabs the 3 treasures, getting the gate to the hole knockdown. Just very, very, very quick gameplay. Very good play. Urgency. Ooh, the Dweevil picking up the treasure. Interesting. She actually opts to wait for the other treasure to pass by the Dweevil before knocking the lipstick off the Dweevil, so that way the Dweevil isn't tempted to go for that treasure, and less time is lost trying to fumble around with the Dweevil picking up the treasures, since these carries are so fast anyway. Now Julian in FC3, gonna be using a Pikmin to just lure the Bullbear. Actually, the Bullbear eating the Pikmin through the wall. Also opting to grab the Bulbman. Probably deciding that he is a bit low on Pikmin right now in the cave, so every little bit that he can get definitely helps. That appears to be the game plan. Chemi on COS 3 looks like a pretty standard COS 3. Loses a purple to the electricity right there, but overall just flipping the anodes, you know, making sure everything gets through safely, and now headed over to the other side. At the very least, if you were to have a treasure be behind the gate, Patient Tester is the one that you want to be behind the gate because you don't have to worry about digging it up. But obviously, optimally, you don't have any treasures behind the gate, and you can just get behind any gate and you just kind of get a load going, get your loads going, get everything back to the ship. Ugh. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Julian finishing up on FC3, headed towards the headed towards the hole. Again, with this, just their downtime is so perfectly synced up where when there's nothing happening on the screen besides just a come down cutscene, it's happening at the same time for both players. Anyway, with Citadel of Spiders 4, the game plan here is really just get to the end, get to the exit. Sometimes you can collect a treasure here, the time capsule, if with a very specific layout, but generally, just you're going to the exit. That's really the game plan for this sublevel. Definitely something for a lot of these sublevels that have like relatively not great treasures, such as, you know, Snagger Hole 4 with the cherry, or Citadel Spiders 4 with the time capsule. It's that if you're a newer runner and you aren't really sure, is this a good layout to get this treasure? A rule of thumb is just don't go for it, you know, if you don't have to. There's definitely plenty of other ways to get Pokos, even if it might be technically faster on this layout to get that treasure. It generally just whatever. Chemi beating BLL here, grabbing the key, doing the standard fast BLL strat, where what we do is we actually I I can't do it. If Cap was here in the commentator's booth, he would do the funny thing and start mumbling and talk about bisecting or whatever. But I feel like I can't really do that bit justice. So unfortunately, you just have to deal with me saying that, yeah, you kill BLL fast, you throw purples at it, you throw the purples at the legs, it dies. Very cool. Thank you, BLL. Julian also now onto FC5. Again, with this particular FC5 layout, it's just kind of unfortunate that you have to get through every other Mamuta before you can get to the one that actually is holding the treasure. So that's a bit of a slower layout as a result. Ooh, getting a fair bit of his Pikmin buried by the Mamuta. Very unfortunate. Definitely something that happens though. Ooh, getting all his Pikmin caught on the butterflies as well. Now all of his Pikmin buried. Yeah, he opts to reset here because it's probably faster to reset than pluck all of the Mamuta just threw in. Unfortunate, but definitely part of the game. Chemi now knapsacking to get up to Glutton's Kitchen, which is the last cave that we'll be doing in the Payoff Debt run. Gets the knapsack pretty quickly. And so now she's just going to have Louie grab the rest of her Pikmin. Get headed into the cave. Julian back on FC5, hopefully going to be a bit more mindful here. Alright, raising up some whites, yep. Since those Bulbmen aren't really going to be useful outside of this cave. Having them be whites is definitely a good thing, especially because there's going to be a fair bit of waiting for this particular treasure to get in because it's so far, because it's the last Mamuta. So, you know, the downtime spent plucking the whites isn't going to really mean that much in the long run of particular layout. Let's see, Butterfly's kind of getting in the way again, but does get the stun on the Mamuta. Very good. Ready to grab the treasure. Chemi now on Glutton's Kitchen 2. Ooh, getting bread bugged. The bread bug ends up stealing the treasure that she's looking for on this sublevel. As a result, she loses a bit of time having to just kill the bread bug. Going for a pretty consistent strategy of killing the bread bug, just doing C-stick throws right onto the spot where the bread bug is, with the occasional whistle that she always has Pikmin throw. Julian lucky look towards the exit of FC5. Meanwhile, Chemi is waiting for the treasure to get in, so the exit of Glutton's Kitchen 2. So, Chemi now on Glutton's Kitchen 3. Another kind of rough. Oh, speak of the devil of rough electricity. Sublevel loses some Pikmin to here. Still has a solid 78 Pikmin left alive here. 76. Still has enough Pikmin alive where she can be okay. Clacker's here. No Clackerless. Clackerless has kind of been a thing that runners have been getting a lot recently, including in cases. I guess it's just one of those things, huh? But here, Clacker's here. It's a very rare thing to not get. I have to tell a story now. So during the last race that I was commentating with Chemi, the person who's racing right now, and I went after the race and I was making fun of someone for being like correcting someone in a conversation or something. And my friend who was watching the race just comes over and mentions how I corrected the cheats that Calculus happens, and I was like, because originally someone said like 33. I think Chemi said 33%, and I looked it up. I like, oh, it's 20%. Point shit, I hate him. So this actually is a moke throw layout from GK4. Moke throws is a setup that is wasn't discovered necessarily by MokeG, but specifically I believe this setup for the Glutton's Kitchen throws were. We've known about purple like forever, but this particular purple throw setup discovered by MokeG. Luckily, this is the easier Moke throw treasure because it's only a weight of 8, which you need to get 1 purple up there. The other treasure, Invigorator, has a weight of 12, so you have to get at least 2 purples up. Just it's not run killing. It's not devastating. Just a little annoying thing. Julian now getting the fossilized Ursidae again. I believe that is his last above ground. Valley of Repose. Yeah, it's like it. So he's gonna go to Sunset, head towards Pool. Meanwhile, Chemi's just waiting for that last treasure to get in. It is. Chemi, I believe on Poco Pay. 9488. I don't Poco Face. I haven't run Payoff Debt recently to know Poco Face. I should go relearn Poco Face.
Hello. I wanted to ask how is the race going so far?
The race is going well. The race is going fine. You're a bit behind. Julian just and yeah. Anyway, Chemi collecting the 2 treasures here on Glutton's Kitchen 5. This is definitely a sub-level you can just kind of run in. You know, Pikmin will die, and you're like, huh, that's cool. Keep going. Definitely a rewarding sub-level here on Payoff Debt, where you can just kind of like, you can just be fast. You don't have to worry about being safe. Ooh, does get the white Pikmin cutscene. Yeah, I know. She almost went without that white cutscene, but she gets it at the very end. Very end. Not what you want to see. Julian just through COS. Just Love Nugget isn't really worth it here, especially considering now on Glutton's Kitchen 6, the final floor of Glutton's Kitchen, final floor of the run. What the strategy is going to be here is you just want to get some anodes killed as quickly as possible, so that way the big giant bread bug is going for them. Get the kill on. Ooh. Pikmin gets zapped, but doesn't all the carry. Sometimes that electrical hazard can be very annoying if you don't all of the on the carry enough, and the red bug just goes through it. Ooh. Loses, what was that, 2 blues it looks like to the electricity. But getting all the treasures in, she's gonna whistle some of the pick off the donut here to make it so the giant red bug AI is going to want to grab the donut so she can get the on. So, ooh, the anode's coming a little bit close. Always a little bit scary when there are anode beetles around. Even if they're kind of out of range, you always just have to be very mindful of them, because sometimes they just happen to move perfectly into the most inconvenient spot, and then you get your Pikmin. So you always have to make sure that carrying through those. But yeah, it looks like Chemi is going to be paying debt with a whopping 18 Focos. Could be 28 if she grabs the GBB box. Looks like she will. Okay, it looks like she's not gonna wait for Giant Red bodies. GG's to both the runners, you know, both of them putting in their work. Julian, not super duper far behind. I've definitely seen races where they've been further than this. I've seen races where people are still in the cavern. The other person, so definitely COS 3 is not a horrible place to be, especially for a less. Still definitely put on a good showing here. If he did, and so yeah, definitely good job to both the runners here. Maybe we'll get a Chemi hopping into the chat. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, having paid the debt, Julian just really finished these last couple of caves, getting to the end. The goal is definitely right there in sight. Lag. This stream. Chemi dropping the GGs, the giant red bug. Collecting patience tester now, Julie. I believe that's the last one. No, a bit of a slow US. I think that's just more of a misreading where everything type of thing, opposed to a like you're not. Sometimes you're not exactly sure where what you're looking for is. That it. But yeah, really good job from both these rounds as I know it looks like there's still like a good couple of minutes of Julian West ignoring the sprouts as you on COS 4 and just gate. It's very nice to just check that know exactly where the cave is, especially longer, these bigger labyrinthy kind of, well, not necessarily labyrinthy, but like more confusing layouts where you can really see the exit, which you don't really get that much of Awakening Wood or Valley of Repose. You get a bit of it in Frontier Cavern 6 specifically, but for the most part, it's not really something to do with, especially considering that you're going to be, clearing most of these Awakening Wood and Valley of Repose compared to Citadel Spiders that floors run into the specifically COS. Alright, Julian heading over to BLL. Last BLL. Let's see it. Let's watch the boss. This is some of the purple throws. Salvage. It doesn't quite get the one cycle, but yeah, definitely still a very, very well executed BLL nonetheless. Unfortunately, the key does kind of fall a little bit away. What do you know? Looks like the credits are just Chemi. Let's see some 52 Pikmin lost to electricity. Wow, that is a bit rough. Kind of what happened. 0 yellow Pikmin born. God intended. Yeah, it's really piece part. Julian getting the key. Gonna be back above, going to GK. If you think about it, going to GK, yeah, me too, Chemi. Like seeing you, I honestly expected a reset, but I guess you just kind of had the mind that it wasn't necessarily that many Pikmin. It was still definitely salvageable. So you said, I'm just gonna keep running with this. Don't want to play through that. That was a pretty rough SCX6 overall. So I could definitely see the mindset. Yeah, that's fair. Definitely a fair bit of whites died as well, though. I don't think you lost any purples though, if I remember correctly. But I guess probably part of the reason is you don't want to play that SCX6 again. That was a real rough SCX6. Right, Julian, ooh, bug being little turd here. That snitch bug is just not a good, just not a friend. We'll put it that way. We don't like that snitch bug around. Yeah, heading into Glutton's Kitchen, 93 Pikmin. Definitely. Hopefully, no major disasters happen here on out. GK1, huh? Who agrees? Can I get a the herb one dadmin in the chat if you agree? I'll drop one to Twitch. All right. On to GK2. Looks like Julian doesn't end up getting bread bugged like Chemi did here. So Chemi, clearly the worst player. You should go. Chemi, you should just go like run a different game at this point. What are you even doing? Come on. Cap dropping his own emote, of course. The man just always just trying to plug his own stuff, never supporting the community. What an asshole. Yeah, Chemi does deserve to get flamed for that, by the way. Respectfully flamed. In a you're a very good player, but come on. It's like the majority of what Jack talks about in Cap's chat, you know, just like respectful flame. No, respectful flame is when you build a flaming is when you burn down someone's house, but respectful flame is when you like at least set up like, you know, a little fire ring before instead of starting a brush fire. That's what a respectful flame is. Just setting up a little fire ring, you know, getting a bit of protection there. You just set their Pikmin 2 copy on fire is what it is. Julian on GK4, gonna have to do a moke throw. I mean, I guess that is kind of. I mean, it's over Pikmin 2, so yeah. Sub to Urban, I agree. Urban's got this sub goal of every single person on the planet. So until that sub goal is hit, I am going to constantly nag everyone in chat to go subscribe to Urban, the Urban Deer on Twitch. Go, go, go. I don't know. Hey, Urban, you're in the chat, right? When, when are you gonna stream? What? You're not in the chat? That's crazy. All right, Julian lining up the moke throws. Ooh, let's see. A bit off on the angle, but he gets on. No, he gets the treasure. Very good. Now just finishing up the sub level, getting all the treasures in, you know, and this stuff. True, you can just get the emote from channel points. But if you're doing that, that means you aren't spending your channel points on a run with Mike in for Urban. So honestly, kind of a waste. Not gonna lie. Fun times. Fun Pikmin. Fun Pikmining.
What? Okay, flag. So
Where's the treasure? Ooh. That load kind of got messed up. I don't know what happened, but something happened off screen. No, is there not any other fruit? Fru. Love that. Yeah. Anyway, end of the run. Just got giant bread bug to do. Olimar getting squashed. Classic fun time in the Glutton's kitchen. It's always a treat when you something that rhymes. Glutton's kitchen. Olimar Pikmin 2. Collect all the treasures so you can get enough Pokos to pay off the debt. Giant bread bug and anode beetles are also worth Pokos when you put them into the ship. Donut, giant bread bug, anode beetle, flip glitch. Egg, ham. Giant bread bug walking emote. Egg. Oh no, both of the treasures end up into the bread bug now. That's really unfortunate. That was not a rap, that was just me trying to process what is going through my mind into the microphone. Because and both of the bread bugs just running off into who knows where as well. Just so unfortunate. Going for a bit of a walk. Nightwolf, it's okay. I mean, it's the end of the stream. No audio doesn't. It's fine. It's the last sub level. But now Pickhackers are gonna complain that we don't get to hear the giant bread bug music. Anyway, bread bugs finally cooperating and grabbing some bug bodies. So we can get those guys killed. Looks like. Alright, he looks like he hits him first. Acapella the bug music. Boo doo doo doo. Boo doo 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 doo. Peppo, 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 bug. Peppo, 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 bum, bum, ding. There's your giant bread bug. If I had crash symbols, I would totally hit them right now. But unfortunately, I don't have any crash symbols. I have a triangle in the other room. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not just like the worst person ever. But if I really wanted to, I could go grab a triangle and play it. Yeah, but Julian finishing up here, getting those last treasures into the ship, and paying off that debt. GG's. Just smack my belly as a substitute. Wait.
no.
Wow. Look at that. Perfect 10,000 Pokos. Wonderful job from both runners. Great race. fun. I enjoyed commentating by myself for an hour and a half. Um, so yeah, the next race that we have going on is in what, 5 hours? I want to say 5 hours. 1 sec, I will check the
Hello, I'm done.
spreadsheet.
I'm back.
GG's,
Thanks.
Julian. Check. Um,
GG's, Julian.
GG, thanks.
yeah,
So,
at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is in 4.5 hours. The next race will be going on between I believe this is SBU and Heart Piece, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Heart Piece and SBU. All right, well, GG's to both runners.
Yeah, GG once again.
thanks. I can't hear the Discord server for some reason. So, very quietly. Okay. Chemi, what was your time?
My final time was 1:10:10.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
less
had a
than
bit
an
of a
hour.
minor disaster on a SCX6 where I lost like nearly all of my blues and
Mhm.
about 10 whites.
So, yeah, I had the funniest disaster were those things put all my Pikmin in the earth. So plucking them would have been a lot slower than resetting.
Yeah, that does just happen sometimes. Snitch bugs
Yeah.
are awful.
But thanks for letting me use more Pikmin. That was definitely helpful.
Yeah, no
Otherwise,
problem.
I would have to reset quite a bit more.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna head out. I need to eat something. It's about that time for me. So, GG
Okay.
again. Thanks for commentating, Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later, everybody.
GG. Bye.